Hello, my name is Christine, and we are learning how to use Claude Code as we build an app. And in the previous episode, we learned a little bit about memory and all of the cool things that you can do. And we actually started to put hands on keyboard and work with the agent to get this up and running. So where we left off, we had just kind of got the app running, a very basic app running, and it asked us to run it. I said, no, it's running fine. Fine, where to next? All right, so hopefully it's gonna figure out like we need to actually work on the next step in our phase. So it's setting up the linter. Yep, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's set up the linter and configure Tailwind. And the other thing that actually is pretty good that you can possibly look at is, let's do Prettier RC. Go ahead, and it's checking that. I always like to see what it's doing at the same time in case I need to steer it accordingly. But it seems to be doing the right thing. Okay, ESLint. Let's go ahead and do that. And again, it's doing a lot of work that you might have had to do by yourself, but we've got other coding tools that will also do that as well. Yes, let's continue. All right, so it's trying to do things with that. Let's set that up as well. And then it adds something in the package.json file so we can actually run these commands as well. Looking good. And then I can run this. I'll just run it myself again. No, hang on. Let me let it run it. Because sometimes what's actually good is if it runs the command, it can also autofix any errors that it finds as well. And it's checking cannot find module. So you can go ahead and figure that out as well. Looks like it needs to install some of those node types that it missed for type checking. And this is kind of like a good workflow where it's fixing the errors as it's going along, kind of like that. All right, so now we've got to the step where it's actually trying to install the Tailwind. And this is where it actually helps to have an idea of like the tech stack that you're working with. One thing I know for sure from using some of these other tools is these LLMs have a cutoff or a knowledge cutoff date, and in case of Claude, it was late last year. So I know for a fact that this is not how you install the latest Tailwind with Vite. To work with Vite, these are the latest instructions for how you install it. And so one way that you can do or have the LLM know about this is you can make use of the model context protocol, and this is an open standard that was developed by Anthropic in late 2024, and it extends the capabilities of these LLM systems like Claude Code to allow it to reach other data or other services. And people have developed these model context protocol or MCP servers that do various things. For example, there is an MP server from Context 7, which allows you to get up-to-date documentation. So in the case of Tailwind, it'll have all of these different libraries that you can search for. And in Tailwind, I can search for Tailwind CSS or any other library. And once I got that, and you've seen then I can look for a documentation, say, related to how to install it with Vite. And if I can type it, yep, and then show the results. And this gives some information about how you upgrade how do you install it, what the latest instructions are. Very useful information. And if our LLM can actually get that information, it would actually allow it to do the right thing. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to install this MCP server and then ask Claude Code to use it for getting information for installation for Tailwind. All right, so back here, it was asking us for incorrect information. I'm just going to say no, And in this case, I do want to install that MCP server. So I am going to basically quit for now. And the way you can install an MPC server is different ways. You can add it's MCP. Yeah, so MCP add, I'd done it before, so it remembered it. Add context 7, S minus S, that option argument, the project means that do I want to install it locally on my project? Do I want it to install it in a different place? So in this case, I want to install it in this project so other people can make use of it. So I run that, and now it's added it to this project directory. And the way that I know that it's added it is if I go in and look at my directory, there should be a new MCP JSON file with the same information in that as well. And I can also actually start up Claude again. And let me use continue. So continue is if you ended a session and you wanted to continue from where it left off, you can use that as well. Now it sees that there's a new MCP server and it knows that it's context 7. I don't want it. I just want to ask it for other servers in the future. So I said, just use this MCP server. And now it's going to continue to say, let's configure Tailwind. So I wanted to do it differently. As you can see, it's remembered my previous instructions. So instead of installing Tailwind, I'm just going to say install it with the Tailwind CSS and use context 7. So hopefully it's going to kind of trigger calling the context 7 MCP server to get the information. And the first thing it's going to do is realize that its Tailwind CSS is actually going to be running the command to do a search for this library. And hopefully it gets the right library and it gets the right information. So it looks like it's gotten Tailwind Labs, tailwindcss.com, and now it's looking for a topic related to installation with Vite. And if it gets the right snippet of information, it should hopefully be able to get us the right one. It still hasn't gotten the right information, so we might have to try it a few times. So just coming back, I did do another check. I asked it to install the Tailwind CSS, and I added the check the Vite install topic. Then it did the same search that it had done before. But this time around, it actually did find the right information. So now it's actually doing what looks like the right thing, which is basically getting the browser information, and it matches what I was looking for Tailwind CSS. So that looks fine. I can go ahead and run the install, and I say, yes, I want you to install it with the right instructions. All right, so it's going in, and as it's doing the installation, it's also checking and adjusting the Vite config file to add the Tailwind plugin. And I know you don't really need to do this for the latest version, so I'll say this is no longer needed. So this is where just having a little bit of knowledge to just guide it into what to do. So again, Tailwind init is not part of the latest spec. So it's going to go ahead and change the files to kind of make it match what Tailwind expects. So go ahead and say yes. All right, so it's modifying our initial app file to make sure that it uses Tailwind CSS. And I'll say, yeah, let's make these edit. So everything looks Tailwind as well. And I know the config file is not needed, but let it go ahead and create it as well. So if you ever look at the latest docs for Tailwind, that is no longer needed. All right, so it wants me to run the dev server again. I have it running already, so I'll just say it's already running. But I can go ahead and look at my browser And now I see that we have got Tailwind set up.